legendary.
I have been watching this TV series, The Big Bang Theory. It's very interesting. It's about the life of scientists, and the producers are putting in some interesting topics these days. So I have my co-host along with me, Jacob. Thank you for having me, Jacob.
Hey man, hey Piyush. I'm really glad to have you as a co-host on the podcast, and welcome to
Thank you.
SAFT Podcast.
Thank you.
So Big Bang Theory. I guess most of the audience might know about the TV show. It's a pretty big hit, 12 seasons. I mean, the
Yeah,
Friends
right.
TV series went for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
So they've gone to 12 seasons. For those of you who don't know what this is about, symbol, it's the life of a couple of scientists. They work at Caltech University in California, and their love life and all the fun thing that happens,
Oh.
all the symbol jealousy that happens in their life at Caltech, and they come across some breakthroughs, and
Wow.
so the characters are quite quirky in their own way. People who don't understand sarcasm, people who have a bad sense of fashion, people who are very allergic to everything. So they present scientists as they are in real life, not
Okay.
swanky and cool and with gadgets and stuff. But the reason today we're talking about this topic is because of the producer Chuck Lorre. Chuck Lorre has given us some really remarkable, memorable TV shows. Starting off with Dharma and Greg,
Yeah. Right.
and the Two and a Half Men.
Mhm.
There were some really good shows. So here's the backdrop on Chuck Lorre. Chuck Lorre was born and raised as a Jew, so he was born into a Jewish family,
Oh.
and later on in his life he became an atheist.
Mhm.
So he has this resentment towards Jewish faith.
Oh. Okay.
So what he does is throughout his shows, throughout the episodes, the scripts, he vents it out against the God of the Bible. So even in the TV series, I remember in Two and a Half Men, it wasn't that explicit, but there were points where they mock God, but in a different manner. Because I think it was at the beginning phase, so it wasn't that explicit.
Oh.
And in Big Bang Theory, what enabled him to do it much more effectively was the protagonist of the show, Sheldon Cooper. He is born into a born-again Christian family, as you might have noticed in the TV series.
Yeah. Right.
From Texas.
Hmm.
So in other words, he's born into a Protestant family from Texas, and Texas is a red state. It's fully conservative.
True.
So conservatives are very strongly Christian in the US. They're
Yeah.
predominantly Christian.
Hmm.
So what happens is that Sheldon Cooper is used by his dialogues is used by Chuck Lorre to point out mockery at the Christian faith. So this time he's being very specific. Now within the show there are points where he refers to the Jewish faith and the Jewish God, but he doesn't go explicitly at it. It's just that he makes fun of the Jewish custom and the Jewish people and simple stuff.
Yeah.
So the character that is involved is also a Jewish character in the show. So it's fine for people. But here an atheist son is making fun of his mother's faith, and he explicitly calls his mother a nut job because she believes in Noah's flood and stuff.
Oh.
So what's interesting is that given the character's position, given Sheldon Cooper is presented as a brilliant scientist, whenever he makes a claim, scientific claim within the story, the audience is tuned to accept it. Because within the story they show this evidence of him being brilliant, and they bring Stephen Hawking
right.
into the show. So they make the audience convinced that whatever Sheldon Cooper says about science, especially when it comes about these parts, he has to be true.
Okay.
So what happens is people don't go and they don't check it up. So here's one interesting point that I figured out. If you might have noticed it, at the end of every episode, when they just before they show the Warner Brothers, after they show the credit parts, as the credit scenes are quickly flipping through, for a millisecond you can see a postcard. And what Chuck Lorre does is, in every episode of the shows that he produces, at the end of every episode there's a postcard where he writes stuff. It can be simple, it can be something
I've
humorous,
seen that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it can be something lame. In the recent episodes he was taking a hit at Donald Trump, he was talking about Hillary Clinton, political stuff, so many things there. So in one episode, the audience, as you might also recall, where Raj is finally able to speak to woman.
Yeah.
So you guys need to watch the show to understand it fully what's happening there. But finally, this guy, he's able to overcome his fear and he's able to talk to women. And at the end of the episode, there's this postcard, and here's what the postcard is talking about. Chuck Lorre is saying that the God of the Bible is being very petty and jealous when God is talking to his people, to the Israelites, and saying that they shall not have no other gods beside him. So he's saying that, he's mocking the God of the Bible and saying, well, it's pretty childish, like it's like a boyfriend saying to a girlfriend, hey, you shall have no one other than me, or a girlfriend saying to a boyfriend, hey, you shall not see anyone else, you shan't touch anyone else. So he was bringing this image and presenting the God of the Bible as being too childish, and sort of subtly hitting at the anthropomorphism of creating a deity out of human imagination, creating a God out of human concepts. But the interesting point is that, why did Chuck Lorre use the analogy of a girlfriend and a boyfriend instead of a husband and a wife?
Yes.
I mean,
that would have been more appropriate.
That would have been more appropriate, exactly. Because if you look at the Bible in the book of Jeremiah, Hosea, there is this constant reference to the nation of Israel as the wife or as the bride. So the point presented is the level of commitment that God is expecting from his people. They are the chosen people whom God has led victoriously out of Egypt. The image presented in the Bible is that of a husband and a wife.
Yes.
Even in the New Testament also, the bride and the bridegroom. Christ is the bridegroom, the church is the bride. But if Chuck Lorre picks up that analogy, then immediately it makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, the husband or the wife has a right to say to their partner that they should stay committed to them, that they shouldn't go out seeking other men or women. They shouldn't hang around in these lustful places. But if that's the point, then Chuck Lorre can't make fun of anything. That's rational. That's 100% commitment. So what he deliberately does is he presents a childish image of a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and then presents the God of the Bible in that way.
Yeah.
So the interesting point that I wanted to present with this podcast is, you will watch different stuff on TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc. We all need to be concerned with what we watch, what we put into our head, what we let our eyes feast upon. But other than that, even in these cases, when you come across these facts, just take a moment, read it, think it, because you may know when your friend might pick this up and come to you. So you will be able to know why they were misconstruing, why they were construing up the image of the Bible in a very childish and wrong manner.
Sometimes, like, what happens is, when we watch different shows or movies, we totally, we don't we keep ourselves blindfolded to the reality of the world, and we totally get into it.
True.
So that's what makes us believe in what is false as well.
Yes.
So
and we just simply swallow it. We just take it straight up.
Exactly.
So that doesn't mean you can't watch Big Bang Theory. I love the show. I like 2.5 Men. I love Chuck Lorre Productions. But this is something that he has been, and I'm not very pleased with him for presenting a wrong image. He can give criticism. He's fine. This is a free will world, and he's in America, one of the freest nations. He can do that, but he shouldn't have misconstrued the Christian position.
He's one of a big influencer right now.
Exactly.
Through his shows, he's influencing many people. So I think it was very inappropriate. So thanks, Jacob. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and see you next week.